Hey friends! Hope you guys are having an amazing day. Thanks for jumping in. This is Chalking Up the Walls, and you guys are in my craft room. So while we chat, let's get started. So I got this frame here. I need to take this little piece of cardboard off. I got this frame a while back, actually, on clearance from Hobby Lobby for $4.99, and I've just been kind of like waiting for the right thing to do. I love the wood grain in it, but the design that I've decided to do, we're gonna just kind of mute that down a little bit because I want it to, I want the design to really pop off. So I'm just gonna start by spraying a little bit of water because I don't want it to be solid, but I just don't want it to be as brown. I want it to be more white. So I'm just taking some white acrylic paint. We're just gonna put a fair amount in there and taking like just a good old sponge brush, and let's just kind of start to smear it around. But anyway, while we're doing that, let's chat. So anyway, like I said, my name's April. You guys are in my craft room, and I hope that you are having an amazing day. Jump in, say hey. That way I know you're here. If you see the little red box up there, that means you're live. If not, you're catching the replay, which is totally cool. We like that. Sometimes it's easier to catch the replay than it is to catch lives, because unless you get like a notification, you don't necessarily know that we're live. But anyway, I hope you guys are having a fabulous evening. My daughter and I have been busy packing for our trip that we have coming up. We're heading to, speaking of, if you guys have any recommendations on things to do in the Fort Lauderdale, Miami area, let me know. It's been a long time since I've been down that way, but we are going for a concert. So we have plans for one of the evenings, but being that we're traveling, so far, we figured we'd spend a few extra days just like kind of hanging out in the area, checking out the beaches and all that good stuff. So we're looking forward to some tasty seafood and whatnot. All right, so I'm not trying to get like, as I said, like perfect, but I do kind of want it to look, mostly covered. But I kind of am hoping that once this dries, we'll be able to get a little bit of that wood grain to still come through. If not, we can always like sand it off a little bit. But I just want to make it a little bit lighter inside here. That's why I added that water, as you guys saw, because I want it to look more of like a white wash than like an actual like white paint, just to lighten up that background a tad. And then I have a really cool transfer that I've been waiting to do, and I finally like saw this surface in my little craft in the closet here in my craft room, and I was like, that is going to be perfect. All right, so I'm trying to get like into this corner just a tad here and just cover it up. But anyway, I think this is going to make for a super cool like wall hanging once we get it done. So yeah, like I said, if you guys have any recommendations as to things to do in the Fort Lauderdale / Miami area, we're actually staying in Fort Lauderdale, but as I recall, there's hair. Let's get that little hair out of there. As I recall, Miami's like, what, half an hour or so maybe? So we're thinking about doing a day trip down that direction while we're so close. I don't believe my daughter's ever been to Miami, so I think that'll be fun. Okay, so now that we've got most of this down here done, I'm just taking my brush and just kind of smoothing out so we don't have like too much of a harsh brush stroke. This is why I like to use my makeup sponge method, because you don't have to worry about the brush strokes. But this is way too big and would take me way too long to do that. So we're using a sponge brush. Works pretty well though. All right, one last little corner here, and I think we're gonna have the background good to go. Might need a little bit more water and a little bit more paint. I don't know, maybe just a little bit more water. Let's see if we've got enough in here that we can kind of spread it out. All right, that water kind of went everywhere, so let's spread this back out and get our background covered. Pretty quick though. So I do absolutely love finding a good craft deal. You guys know me by now. Unless you're new, let me know if you're new. But if you've been watching for a while, you know I love a good craft deal. So anytime I go to any of those craft stores, hobby stores, that kind of stuff, I always just take a peek down their like clearance aisle because you can find really cool frames. And all you have to do is repaint them, which as you can see doesn't take too long, in whatever color you like, and you have like a brand new surface. So for $5, this was definitely worth grabbing. And I think I actually have two. We'll have to come up with something to do with the other one. But I've had these for a few years, just like living their best lives, not really living their not so best lives in my closet. So it was time to do something with it. And when I saw this particular transfer, I thought, you know what, that's the one. Okay, this looks nice and smooth on this side. I'm happy with that. Just gonna kind of even out these edges just a little bit. We'll be good to go. All right, and as it's drying, we're still getting some of that wood grain through it, right? And that's kind of what I'm looking for. So let's say that's probably good. Give it a quick dry here and see what we got. Oh yeah, as it dries, it's even lightening up a little bit more. I really like that. That's good. We do want to make sure that it's like super dry though before we add our transfer to it. So bear with me while we make a little bit of noise here. But I think this is making the background kind of blend in with the outside here, because I really like this beaded look. And see, not quite, but pretty close. And now we have transformed it into a much more muted background. All right, add a little bit of a brush stroke up there, so I'm just kind of spreading it out. And then we should be good, I'm thinking. So that's enough paint for now. Anyway, so let's move that out of the way. And we're probably done with that brush too. So yes, we do definitely want to make sure that it's dry. But anyway, what are you guys doing tonight? Anything fun? Let me know. You guys have any plans for next weekend? 4th of July is coming up, so I know a lot of people like to go camping over the 4th of July weekend. We typically do, but being that we are getting back on Friday, we are not going to be taking another trip like the following day. So we're going to stay local for our 4th of July. Hopefully catch some local fireworks. We talked about it, but the logistics of that is just not gonna work. I'm literally would have to get off an airplane, come home, unpack, repack, and that's just a lot. I don't think so. Still not quite dry, but anyway, in the meantime, wow, let's scoot this over and let's get this thing prepped. So my transfer of choice, let me show it to you, is called Love, Joy, Peace, and it's got all of these like super cool florals, which you could do obviously in more like a floral tone, but I'm going to keep this piece pretty neutral. That way it can fit like anywhere in anybody's home. And I think it's going to turn out cool. I just need to make sure that I get this wood dry. I added that water, so it's taking a little bit longer to dry, but that, my friends, is okay. Once we get it all completely dry, which I think we should be there now, that feels pretty good, we are going to use some of our surface wax. Because as you guys saw, we just painted it. And with freshly coated wood, it's always a great idea, best practice anyway, definitely, to add a little bit of wax to protect the paint that we like just worked oh so hard to cover. And then also just to kind of seal in our wood and give us a nice smooth surface. So we're just taking a little bit of our wax and just rubbing right over all of that area that we painted, and then just kind of buffing as we go. You don't want any like lumps and clumps in your wax, but you do want to make sure that you cover the entire thing. You want it nice and smooth and nice and even. Wood has the tendency to create like little burrs, especially when you paint it. It'll pull up some of the fibers, which is fun, but you want to make sure you get it nice and smooth so we have a nice flat surface to put our transfer on. Okay, I think that feels nice and smooth, nice and dry, and we should be good. All right, cool. All right, I'm happy with that. So let's close up our wax and get our transfer ready to go. So our silk screen transfers are super easy and fun to work with. They come in all sorts of sizes. This is one of the larger sizes, but they're just, I mean, they're incredibly easy to work with. They're silk screens, right? So they're adhesive. So they're adhesive on the back, which makes it nice. And they are, in fact, reusable. So you can get plenty uses out of these. All right, I have not used this one yet. So as you know, we always like to mark our corner. Let's go here and here, because as I was saying, they're reusable. So after we're done with this one, we'll clean it and then we can make a different project with it, right? I think this would be super cute. I don't think you'll be able to get the whole thing to fit, but I think this design would be super cute on like the back of a hoodie or like a shirt or something like that, some type of fabric. So I may have to see if I've got anything, and if not, find something that I can make a shirt with, because I just love it. So obviously this is a little bit bigger than our fuzz cloth, so we're gonna kind of go in bits and pieces here, and we're just adding some fuzz. Since our transfer is brand new, it's very sticky, which is one of the reasons that they work so well. But when you're putting it on a freshly painted surface, particularly for the first time, you want to make sure you get a healthy little layer of fuzz. You can do it, especially like our smaller designs. You can do it on your own shirt if you want to, but this would be a lot to do on my shirt. So I'm using my cloth. I'm just going to go over it a handful of times just to make that adhesive a little less intense. It'll make it a whole lot easier for us to pull up our design when we're done. And we're almost there. All right. Just press it down and pull it up. I think we're gonna do one more for good measure and we should be okay, except for I just saw that, and this happens especially if you have long hair, which is what I typically like to craft with my hair up, but I just pulled up a hair. So I do need to get that off of there, because a hair will create a line in your transfer, which we don't want. So I need to get this off of here. It's like stuck on there. That's okay. It'll come off. I will find a way to get it off. I may have to take a tad bit of water and get this hair off, but that's all right. We're gonna keep working with it until I can peel it. All right, here we go. We're making some progress. I just need you to Sana. Come on. Come on for there. Might have to get my tweezers out. Nope, I got it. Just have to threaten the tweezers and the hair goes away. So yes, if you have a stubborn one, you could always wash it and get it off that way, but we were able to get it. Okay, so enough of the fuzz. I think we're good. Let's bring this back over. Always make sure that your hanger, if you're doing a surface that has a hanger, is on the top, because I can't tell you how many times I have accidentally done a surface upside down. It's not the end of the world. You just have to flip your hanger over. And this entire thing is not quite going to fit on here, so Self-control is gonna have to be left for another day, but I'm trying to get them somewhat centered, top to bottom. And I guess left to right, but mostly top to bottom. That looks good. Okay, so now that we have it down, we're going to go over it and press out all of our air. We don't have to press too hard on the edge because we're not going to be able to get that part to fit. But we are going to press all the way through here, and I just absolutely love this. So it says love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and then self-control. And this is a Galatians, you know, from the Bible. So this would have been cool around Easter time as well too. But you know what? This kind of decor fits like any time of year. And if you weren't, you know, being that we're not doing the entire thing, I don't believe I'm going to actually do the Galatians. So you could do just one individual one, but I like the way that this looks as a whole. So I'm going to cover all of this without that part. And I'm going to do it all in the color Espresso. So it's this dark, rich brown, which I think is going to pop off really well. And just look really cool. Nice and neutral, like I was saying, but it's just going to be fun. And I think, I'm hoping anyway, that I can get it to be done all in one. If it looks like it's starting to dry on me, I may do like the pull and peel method, which might not actually be a bad idea, but I'm just going to try to scoop up a bunch of this paste and start going over it. Okay, so let's start and let's see if we can't get it all pretty quickly covered before any of it starts to dry on us. So we're gonna need a bunch. So let's just get it. And any excess that we have, we'll just scrape back up and put right back in that jar. So don't be afraid to put a bunch on when you're starting, especially when you're doing a large project if you don't want to peel as you go. Just get in there and go. So with the paste, you don't want to push like too hard, although being that this one is brand new and very sticky, we probably are good to go. But you don't want to like smash your paste through your silk screen. You just kind of want to let it glide over and let it do its job. It's going to fall right in between that silk screen and fall on our surface below. Okay, now that we've got that, we're just going to quickly kind of pick up all of our excess while kind of looking and just make sure that we didn't miss anything. It is starting to dry, so fingers crossed we're good. And we're just going to start peeling. We're going to peel slow though, just in case we did happen to miss any sections. But so far, so good, y'all. Check it out. I'll show you as I peel. You see the magic that's happening? That simple. And we have like an incredibly detailed, absolutely amazing design that we made ourselves. It's the magic of the silk screens. It's that cool and that simple. All right, so I have a big O transfer covered in paste that I am going to quickly set down on itself. Apparently that's fine. If your transfers ever do fold up on each other, just gently peel them back apart. They'll be fine. But I am going to put it on this dish drying mat that I use a lot to clean my transfers and give it a quick spray of water because I don't want this paste to start drying inside my silk screen. So we're going to keep it wet for now and then we can clean it later. That should be sufficient for what we're doing. All right, let's set this back here and get it out of the way. And then I can show you this super amazing project that we made. It turned out so good. And we did it in less than 20 minutes. Starting with a found board from Hobby Lobby. You can find boards anywhere. And like I was telling you guys, I always check the clearance section because you can always paint over them. Like, even if it's just a cool frame, but it's got something like strange or whatever, something that just doesn't fit your decor, just paint over it. But I'll give you a close-up look here. Look at the detail in those flowers. And I think we did a really good job picking that espresso color, that dark brown. Like I said, it's keeping it very neutral. This will look beautiful in anybody's home, but really pops off that background. What do you guys think? And then it has a hanger. So this can like instantly just go on your wall. I think it turned out awesome. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Let me know also what colors you guys would have chosen. I don't know. I like colors, so I don't always do a whole lot of neutral projects for myself. But I thought that this like really lended itself well to just neutral. And it's just downright cool. All right, guys, that's that. Happy Sunday. I hope you guys are having an amazing day as always, right? So I will be traveling tomorrow, but I will try to pop in if I can. Otherwise, I have pre-recorded a few videos, so you guys will be able to stay up with some content while we're gone. And I will also make sure I stop in and do a live from our beach location just to say hi. But anyway, I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your night, an amazing week, and I will be in touch. All right. Love y'all. Thanks for watching. We'll see you soon. Bye.